got burned by the pyro during that tour.
Ooh.
And Axl Rose refused to go out there to try to save the day. That's what really turned a lot of fans off.
And so
they're like, you had the chance to be the hero.
So not like they were shitty the entire time, and Metallica was professional and fucking awesome.
Yeah, and Metallica only missed, I think, 2 shows because of that burn. James actually went back out there, burned and all, and continued to perform while sitting down, but he still continued to perform.
Like when, that's what was
I can't move, but
a year it was like a year or 2 ago where freaking Dave Grohl broke his leg at the beginning of a show.
Yep.
And he's like, fuck it, they're gonna set my leg, we're gonna keep playing.
Yeah, he did it right on. They did everything right on stage. He sat in basically a throne, and he just sang away.
Yeah.
And that's
that
thing,
shit is metal.
You just gotta push through the issues.
That's metal.
Even though
metal
Foo Fighters do not play metal.
It's metal AF.
But that was metal.
Some people are very devoted to their craft. And other people are just looking for the easy.
Yeah. Yeah. So. One last piece of news. We have another photo leak. This time it's Toni Storm. And, of course, there are the people who are like, the same people with the Mandy Rose thing immediately went to the internet to find the picture. But the We Support Toni hashtag ended up becoming one of the top trends in the world on Twitter, as a lot of what I consider to be the more intelligent and reasonable wrestling fans immediately went to her defense because leaking photos is bullshit. And there's always going to be that argument that, well, then the photos shouldn't exist if you don't want them to leak. But the bottom line is hacking and leaking someone's photos is illegal. So it doesn't matter if they, quote-unquote, shouldn't exist or not. That's like saying that you didn't deserve, that you had money in your pocket and you were walking down the street and you deserve to get robbed because you had the money in your pocket. That's exactly what that's like saying. Well, then you shouldn't have had that much money in your pocket if you didn't want to get robbed. Like, I'm sorry. It's a bullshit excuse. You can make all the excuses you want. I'm not saying that your side of the argument isn't something that I might understand, but I think it's wrong. And you really can't change my mind on that.
No, and sensible people, you won't change their mind on that.
No. Again, that's the whole thing.
It's been the same situation every time this comes up. You know, you have half the people crying, "Oh, it's your fault," and then the other people going, "No, it's not."
Well, here's the thing: all the people who claim that it's her fault for having those personal information right now and put it out there, would you take fault for that, or would you just be pissed off? Let's be reasonable here.
Yeah,
I mean, I really don't think there's another way around it. But y'all can say whatever you want. It's, it's social media. It's your opinion.
Like I said before, it's for me, it's not a fault thing, but this has been a thing for like 4 years now. Protect yourself,
and that's the one part of the argument I do agree.
Protect yourself. If we're it's usually like iPhoto or something like that, like their servers, whatever. It has proven for the last 4 years to be incredibly unreliable.
Yeah.
I say, take your precautions. Don't put yourself in a situation to be a victim. You're still a victim. Protect yourself.
Yeah. Protect yourself, exactly. I mean, let's think about it. I got robbed because I let somebody into my house and kind of took them off the street, and it was somebody who I thought I trusted. And let me tell you, I haven't made that mistake a second time.
Yeah, you're protecting yourself.
So, just throwing that out there. But I still agree, it's still an illegal.
It's illegal.
Still an illegal action.
They find out who did it, they go into jail.
They go into jail.
Federal pound me in the ass prison.
And at least it wasn't like when Seth's stuff got leaked and it turned out he was actually. That was actually kind of funny. Well, in that case, you really should have protected yourself.
And that girl was a Nazi and is now banging Sonya Deville.
Yeah, how about that?
That kind of went really weird direction.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, may I proudly present the internet.
Yeah.
Like if you go see Ralph Breaks the Internet, and that's when Penelope's like, I give you the internet, and I'm just like, yeah, you are presenting right now.
Yeah, I still gotta see that.
Don't go to Rule 34.
It is great. Yeah, don't. Last small piece of news before we move on to the segments and answer your big trivia question. So we've talked about Stephen Amell, and we've talked about David Arquette. Guess who is finally making his pro wrestling debut at a show in Texas?
I know.
I will give you a hint. He was the green/white/red/black/also red Power Ranger
/ Lord Dracon. If you read the comic books.
Yes, JDF, Jason David Frank.
There was somebody who was actually making a joke online saying, you need the Green Ranger with the Green Power Ranger, the Green Power Ranger, the Green Arrow with Green Lantern involved, and Rachel Green doing commentary, and like it's just going on with all the green. Oh fuck! So,
as long as Chelsea Green's in there, I'm good. So yes, that is happening. So we'll keep you updated on that. That's going to be a thing. You know, he's undefeated in MMA with his 5 fights, 4 amateur, 1 professional. He's won them all. He's an 8th degree black belt, by the way. So that's not somebody you necessarily want to fuck with.
Not necessarily, no.
So,
I mean, he's so cool. He does like those superhero beatdown shows as his characters.
he also made a cameo in the 2017 Power Rangers movie.
Yep, him and
Amy Jo Johnson. Yeah, they were just citizens of Angel Grove.
Well, Amy Jo Johnson was in like 2 scenes because she's that Kimberly's like stepmom or like adoptive mother. So she's like in a home scene in the movie, and then in that big group scene in the city at the end.
Good old the good old Power Ranger.
Oh yeah.
So yes, Jason David Frank will be making a pro wrestling debut, and we'll keep you updated on that. So that might be the only way you're going to see him with column is in a works capacity, because the guy's good. We're just saying. All right, guys, it's time to answer the trivia question at the beginning of the show. For those of you who are tuning in late, if you're listening live, I'll repeat it real quick. What was the main event of the first January 4th Tokyo Dome show, which was not called Wrestle Kingdom? It was, in fact, called Super Warriors in Tokyo Dome, which is such a great Japanese name for a show.
Super Warrior in Tokyo Dome.
And the big hint I gave was that one half of this match was, in fact, a previous trivia question. So, Dan, why don't you go ahead and tell us the answer to the question.
The main event was Riki Chosu defeating Tatsumi Fujinami.
In a champion versus champion match.
Yeah.
Yes, IWGP Heavyweight versus Greatest 8. Which is pretty cool. And the Super Warriors in Tokyo Dome was a cross-promotional show with WCW. So it featured Sting and the Steiners and Great Muta, and Lex Luger was on it. Vader was on it. El Gigante was on it, which was terrible. Why the match went almost 5 minutes, I don't know. Bill Kazmir was on it, who was slightly better. And Scott Norton was on it. It was better than both of them somehow. The Rhodes Boys father and son teamed up against Tiger Chung Lee and Masa Saito. Kim Duk as his real name.
And on that show, in the pre-show, it was freaking young boy Hiroshi Tenzin.
Yeah, young boy Hiroshi Tenzin. That's an awesome.
As his actual name.
Yes, against Black Cat Victor Marr, trainer of Chris Benoit. So yeah, that's actually a pretty cool. It's a pretty cool lineup. I might actually want to seek this show out. Maybe we'll do it for future because I want to.
If we get that New Japan World sub, I'm sure we can pull it up.
Oh yeah, I want to do a classic wrestling podcast where we just review stuff that's at least 10 years old or older.
I would go like before Attitude Era.
Well, I want to keep some of that stuff in mind too because there's Attitude Era stuff to review, but but you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Not the BC era, the before era. All right, so did you get the trivia question? Hopefully, somebody got it out there. New trivia question coming next week.
Somebody Google food it.
So, of course, if you're a patron, you in certain tiers you can contribute segments to our show. It's an optional thing. Jay Winger chooses to do that. With the Positivity Zone, we're going to talk about something positive, and I want to talk about a blast from my childhood that is still part of my adulthood and is actually making a comeback, and that's Carmen Sandiego. So for those who are not in the know, Carmen Sandiego basically I believe her whole thing was she was just basically like a crime. It was a whole crime syndicate deal. She was their big leader. She was the big boss. And they had an animated cartoon as well as a game show.
Game show was first.
Yes, there was a whole sequence of video games based on her.
Yep.
Edutainment tales, but actually,
edutainment.
But actually, the tainment was actually there in these edutainment titles.
So there was, of course, Where in the World, Carmen Sandiego, the big one. It came out for the Super Nintendo, and also PC, which is how I had it, of course. And the PC game actually came with the World Almanac and Book of Facts, which I used to use to help me come up with
You needed it to identify flags.
Yeah, they had the whole flag section. That was crazy.
I had a different version of Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego than the one that ended up on SNES. So
yeah,
I had one where there was like a phone on the side of the screen. And...
Yeah, the SNES version was the one that was a duplicate of that one, and it's pretty standard. But the hardest part is not only tracking down where the thief is heading, but you also have to find clues of what the thief looked like so you can get the correct warrant. And they give you a little password. So Dan and I played some of that for our New Year's Eve stream, and we're going to play a little bit more of that. In fact, I want to make a show out of just Carmen Sandiego, do other stuff too. You probably were talking about the Windows version or the CD-ROM and DOS version, which was different, which had the reworked interface before they did the classic re-release, of course, on Windows.
Rotor-run software.
There was a Where in the USA is San Diego game, which I've never played, but I would be willing to try that, although I feel like it wouldn't be as much fun as Where in the World, because I feel like the challenge would be a little less. But again, that also depends on your knowledge of American.
They can get like super esoteric, probably, and like know about like bison herds in Montana shit.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because Where in the World is actually challenging because countries don't even change. The currency has changed, so you got to be like, well, shit. You're like, they changed his money to francs. Well, I know that means France, but if you travel to France now, it's all euros because other than England, Europe has
who has rupees?
Currency.
Well, these guys had rupees until
a lot of people had rupees. Yeah. There is a Where in Europe is Carmen Sandiego.
Where in Time, which they end up doing another game show of. Where in Time.
Yes. There's Where in North Dakota is Carmen Sandiego. which was created by an educational committee. It's a franchise extension.